Right. Do we want to feed these fish? Do we want to take care of this filter?
While I'm back here, we're going to do a couple things, and if you'll help me here.
Sure. Come back, Doc.
You stay where you are.
Okay.
What I'm going to do, this is some of the routine maintenance that you have to do in an aquaponics system. So we're going to go ahead and remove this filter and replace it.
These are just standard little clips. You can get it Lowe's.
Watch that bucket.
And I'm going to hand this to you,
Okay.
and it needs to go into that bucket once I get it out.
You got it right here. Okay.
Hang on, it's got the drain, and it's taking some time because it's really ready to go.
It's going to be heavy too. I'm sure. Hold this up for you.
Let that drain. Hang on.
Okay. And this is just air conditioning filter.
This is just, we buy it on a roll, air conditioning filter pads.
Got it.
All right, grab the four corners and transfer that to the bucket, and give me a new clean one. That's it.
Which one?
A new clean filter. We're going to replace the dirty filter with a clean. Okay. And we recycle these. We wash them and recycle them.
Okay. And Doc, you're just folding this down in?
I want to keep the four corners up and fold it like this. See how that kind of makes a nice little corner there?
Bit, like a little nest.
That's right.
And Doc, this underneath of the spout?
Yep. These go under the spout. That's right.
Okay.
Just feed it right down through there.
Okay. I'm going to flip one down.
Hand me one. Okay, so we're going to put one here. And I'll put one here.
Okay. Got it. And he's just flowing right in there.
Yeah, just kind of pull that right over through there for you.
Now, any leftover water inside of this bucket, is this any good for us? I mean, there's nutrients in there, I'm sure.
That is amazing. In fact, people actually buy that stuff as organic fertilizer.
Yeah.
So it's very, very rich in stuff that if you've got raised beds, that's the kind of stuff you really, really want to use.
So I can just drain this out?
That's right. What we do,
It's got those nutrients in it.
don't squeeze it. What we do before you squeeze it, we would lay it upside down on a grate sitting over the top of this and spray it so that we actually capture all that solid stuff.
Oh,
we'll do
okay.
that next door.
Okay.
All
So
right?
I'm going to take this
So
with
that's ready to go with us.
Okay.
But before we leave, we got to do one more thing.
We got them. They're hungry. They're hungry. That's really neat.
So we're going to see if we can get our cameraman to help us here. We're going to try
Put it in first.
to film the feeding frenzy that's about to take place. More thing that we want to do here is we on a regular basis monitor our water quality to make sure everything's working right. I think part of the aquaculture standard.
It is.
We're going to talk some more about that, but we're going to go ahead and collect our sample here. So I get my bucket nice and clean, take a little bit of water, and we'll bring that next door for analysis.
And gang, you're going to want to hop online at ELC and look at the folder for the educational standards, the standards of excellence, and look up course standard 5 under the aquaponics unit there, and that's where you're going to see 5.1 all the way through 5.13 are all great things. I say that because you can include in your app report here in a couple weeks with Dr. Shaw. Great stuff and involve your students in monitoring all those elements. Looks good. Okay. Let's take this little guy out. Hold it not over the water, Nick.
So it's a two-step process here where we rinse to try to remove the soil.
And not too much of the roots. We're going to be very careful about all these little roots.
Try to retain the roots, remove the soil.
Okay, plus one.
How's that looking? Looks pretty
Try
good.
to-
All right.
Good.
Now we'll do a second rinse. you can really see what you're trying to remove there. As much of that particulate material as possible. And retain that nice pretty root. Let me see. Alright, looks pretty good. Pretty good. Okay.
Alright, we're coming over here and plant this guy. On the back side. Great.
This one right here in the corner. Because we actually, when they get real, make a nice deep hole. We really want those roots to go deep. Alright? Now, the roots are... Okay.
Okay. Deep roots, and I'm just going to pack these. And these guys again are called?
Hydrogen.
Okay, hydrogen.
A puffed ceramic bubble.
All right, gang, so we talk all the time about these standards, and we have got to be able to convince our administrators, and we're doing really cool, innovative things, that we are addressing those key standards. I want to draw your attention to Course Standard 5 in that set of aquaculture that we've got online. We're going to talk first after something you're saying about dissolved oxygen, and that's one of the standards right here, 5.4. Let's take a look at that now.
So we actually have a multi-probe here. We're going to drop this into our water sample that we took next door,
Okay.
so that we can simultaneously do pH and dissolved oxygen. And there are some relatively inexpensive pH and DO probes. The Vernier company is one that sells these at a reasonable price. We're going to go ahead and check. The pH is right around 7, which is exactly what we wanted, 6.9. And we're still stabilizing.
And if we remember back in our days of high school, 0 to 14, 7's right in the middle there, between acidic and basic, okay?
Here's a real nerdy question for you. Can you have a negative pH?
I don't know.
The answer is yes, you can have a negative pH. So in reality, the lowest pH is not 0. Okay. So you see our dissolved oxygen has stabilized right around 5 parts per million, which is good.
Okay.
And so we are good on pH, we are good on dissolved oxygen. There's one more thing we want to check, and that is the total ammonia nitrogen. And there is a small test kit, just like for aquarium use, that you can use for that test. I'm going to try to find one that's already open. This one looks like it's already open. And we'll follow along on these instructions real quickly.
Okay. And Doc, while you're doing that, gang, can you imagine helping your students make conclusions about the quality of the water? Is this good enough or not, given that pH, given that dissolved oxygen? And then imagine a future lesson, or even right there as you reflect, what do we do about that? How do we adjust the pH? And Doc, let's just say, if the pH is too low, I hear putting baking soda, does that help it?
That is exactly what we use. Baking soda is exactly what we use to adjust the pH if it's too low.
Okay.
And it will gradually get low over time, and so that's the reason that we need to adjust it. So I'm going to go ahead and run through our colorimeter and set it on the right test, which is for total ammonia nitrogen.
And I like the way you're following these directions too, Doc. There's no pictures in here, so I have to actually look at the steps.
So we're looking for content number 5. So we're going to just scroll through till we get to number 5.
Ammonia NH. This comes with the kit, Doc?
This all comes in a kit by the Lamont company. I can give you the, there we go.
Okay.
Setting it for ammonia, because it actually measures over 100 different parameters. But we only need it for a few.
Okay.
And this is the most important one. So now we will take our blank sample. This is another cool little chemistry lesson that we...
This is water from where?
This is distilled water.
Okay, distilled, not tap.
We use as our blank to calibrate the unit.
Okay.
It asks for calibration first. Scan the blank. Blank is done. Now we can scan our sample.
Okay.
We take our sample right out of here. This time, because we're going to add some reagents, we need to measure it carefully. Okay.
That's water from the tilapia tank right there.
That's right. So we'll let that sit, and then we are going to add reagent number 1. We're going to add 8 drops of reagent number 1. Reagent number 1. 8 drops. After we add the 8 drops, we will cap and mix. Wait a minute. After 1 minute, we are going to add 1 milliliter of ammonia reagent number 2. So I am going to find our ammonia reagent number 2. Ammonia reagent number 2, and I need a pipette. Okay, pull that out, get that ready. Ammonia reagent number 2. All right, are we at a minute yet? Okay, we're going to wait until we get to a minute. We're going to add a mil of reagent number 2.
And Doc, you said pipette. That sounds very sophisticated. It looks like you just had an eyedropper. Is that what that is?
It's just basically an eyedropper. It comes with the kit.
Oh, good. Right. Okay. So we've mixed this up. And just imagine, as students are reading these, as students are making conclusions from these, as students are writing hypotheses about this. Such a cool principle and standards, too.
That's right. Now it's been a minute. We're going to go ahead and measure out 1 milliliter.
Okay. It's got it right on the side. All right.
1 milliliter of reagent number 2. We're going to go ahead and mix. And then at the end of the 5-minute waiting period, so we allow 5 minutes for maximum color development, and then we will insert the tube and we'll read our ammonia. So now, think about something. I collected this water from the bottom, from the drain of the grow beds where the plants are. The plants are supposed to be absorbing nitrogen out of the water.
Yeah.
I could have collected this sample from the drain of the fish culture tank.
Yeah.
Where we know we would have had a lot of ammonia.
Yeah.
So if the grow bed is working properly, we should have much less ammonia exiting the grow bed than exiting the fish tank.
And we're assuming the plants are taking that up. Is there going to be any residual in there that's just not taken up in the grow beds?
That's what we're measuring right now.
Yeah, okay, good.
Because one of the critical steps is to balance the production of nitrogen from the fish with the utilization of nitrogen by the plants. Have the right amount of fish for the amount of plants.
Oh. I can see these two things being a hypothesis for students right now and then making a conclusion based on data. Excellent.
All right, we're going to let this develop. We'll come back and check it. All right, so our sample of total ammonia nitrogen has incubated for 5 minutes, and we are ready to scan it. So we put it in here, we press enter. 0.46 parts per million, 0.46 parts per million total ammonia. All right, what does that mean? Well, we know that ammonia is toxic to fish, and so we get nervous anytime our ammonia levels get elevated above about 1 part per million. So we're down around half a part per million, which is fine.
Okay.
Tilapia are very tolerant of ammonia, and they will actually do fine at 3 or even 5 parts per million. But we always try to keep it down below 1, just to make sure that we've got really good high quality water for our fish.